It's actually
Jupiter and Mars?
No, it's
what is it
well,
today?
Jupiter has been in Aries, but today is
That's
oh my
why I
gosh,
thought Mars.
it's like
Yeah.
the sun is in Aries. I think Venus is in Aries. There's like 5 planets in Aries, including the moon, and it is all the colors she's wearing.
Yeah.
This is like the dragon.
I'm dressed for the
kimono.
occasion.
It's Paisleys, but it looks like dragons.
It's a paisley.
It's gonna be a fiery time for a little while.
Yeah.
We've also got Pluto going into Aquarius tomorrow. If you are not into astrology whatsoever, please just know that we are using it as a lens to talk about some bigger issues. For us, they symbolize very important things. Like Pluto symbolizes transformation, and sometimes they call it the underworld. It's going to be a very challenging time in whatever sign that it's in. Aquarius is the sign of society. So this is going to be a transformational time for groups. We've been thinking in terms of a bridge, like everyone's on a suspension bridge right now, and it is suspenseful.
Yeah.
It's been in Capricorn, so that's seen the transformation of all our monetary systems and how we view success.
Yeah.
I used to very lightly play with astrology, and it is not light for me anymore. It is real.
It's actually a good mathematical tool. And so we're talking about something that isn't where you look up your horoscope every day and find out what's supposed to be happening. That isn't the kind of astrology we're talking about here.
Westernized newspaper astrology.
Yeah. No, we're talking about the real thing, which was early math.
Which is even addressed in farmers' almanacs.
Yes,
you know?
yeah, absolutely. I grew up looking at that baby.
This is not shallow stuff.
No. And it's not a religion.
No, it's not a belief system at all.
No,
really.
It's not. It's just a math.
It is a lens.
It's a mathematical lens. You have to be good at math to do it.
Right.
I mean, you just do.
Still like watching real astrologers. I am still like, this stuff is so far over my head.
Yeah.
But just the simple learning what the planets symbolize and what the signs symbolize will open up worlds for you. So Saturn went into Pisces recently, which was another big planet, which means several years of change. In Saturn's case, 3. In Pluto's case, 20. But they're both a big deal. And I said in our first video recently that Saturn in Pisces is going to have us wanting more elevated forms of structure. Like, we've been operating in very linear, logical ways. And now we're starting to pick up on the inherent patterns in randomness, for instance. When you roll dice a bunch of times, like crazy amounts of times, a pattern emerges from the randomness. That's kind of what astrology is. It's that next level of pattern.
And see, I think chaos theory. Because
that's
I like
the easy
physics
term
so much.
for it.
Chaos theory.
Yep.
My son is very good at statistical math. and I have, at different times in my life, I'm often capable of pulling the same card, even in the same position, day after day after day. And he would do the statistical math for me to tell me how likely that was. And it was mind-blowing. But it was happening. You know? Stuff happens.
We were going to talk about holding fingers to chill out, to harmonize the second depth. This is a Jinshin method.
Ring finger.
Of just bringing a little calm.
It's Japanese mudras for the body. Is basically what it is. We have a book from Germany called Feeling Great with the Moon by Irene Loretti, and I really like this book. My husband, who's a total like engineering mind, Virgo geek, you know, masculine, you know, the whole 9 yards. He's not the kind of person who would buy this book. I'll put it that way. He actually said to me last weekend that obviously it was not a placebo effect because I didn't expect anything to happen. I just bought it and tried it.
Yeah.
And he's so impressed that he's starting to tell people at work about some of this stuff now.
Well, they know in even medical communities. What is it? With the heart. It helps with heart. Is it the middle?
Oh, there was the little
The
pinky.
pinky.
A friend of ours had an emergency a few weeks ago, and I had just read in this book to grab a pinky if you thought it might be a stroke or a heart attack, so I did it. And then I found out from a medical friend of mine that in the medical community, they already know about that.
Yeah, if all else fails,
Grab the
grab
pinky.
the pinky.
Grab your own
If
pinky if
someone
you're the only
is-
one in the room.
Going through something and you physically
don't know what it
don't
is?
know what it is.
Yep.
Grab the pinky.
Grab the pinky.
It's amazing that I failed to remember pinky. It's the pinky.
It's the pinky. And it's and in the Jin Shin, every finger attaches to 14,400 points
Body
in your
function.
body. And this is ancient Chinese medicine now.
Energetic
Flow paths through your body that keeps everything moving the way it should. And when you're in second depth like this is about grief. And Thomas Aquinas, which is one of my favorite older writers. Yeah, he was a Christian philosopher. He's actually one of my favorite people to read. I love his stuff. He said that he thought that grief was the most damaging emotion there is.
It is the most damaging, but it might also be the most spiritual.
Well, it's an opportunity for growth, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. Now we're back to Pluto.
I used to hate that phrase.
The dark stuff that
Opportunity
is
for growth.
actually our fertilizer, the stuff that
Yeah.
does make us grow and that we do have to integrate. Today, I actually wanted to talk about some of the social transformations that Pluto in Aquarius is going to bring, and I wanted Stella to talk about her relationship with her husband, how they recognized that if they had acknowledged early in their relationship that you're very distracted.
She goes, you want to pet me, don't you?
If only they had realized that Stella wanted to be the breadwinner and Dan wanted to be the homemaker, they would have been smooth sailing.
It would have been a lot
30
more
years
smooth
ago.
sailing. Yeah, because he will stand over a pot for hours nursing something so that it will taste
TLC.
perfect and it will be wonderful. If I make it, it's healthy, it's quick, and it's dirty.
Yeah. Let's throw it in a pan.
Throw it in the
Eat it
pan.
joylessly.
Make sure it's healthy, and we're good to go.
Yep.
You know, I take no pleasure in standing over a stove. However,
Yeah.
I am much more family oriented than he is. I'm much more responsibility laden than he is. I was the older child in the family, you know. So I would have been, if you weren't looking at the 1950s version of marriage, I would have been the better person to be out in the world. Well, and if I hadn't been abused beyond belief, there is that problem because I've got PTSD.
There's no going back.
Yeah, there's no going
It wouldn't
back.
have worked because of the way society was.
Yeah, it wouldn't have worked anyway. But moving forward, our suggestion is that couples look at each other and admit what they really want to do and who they really are. And that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
Because in this society it's all about the sale. And you don't usually pull up the negatives to make a sale in a merchant society. You know. Now they used to beat people, and they still do it to women a lot.
Yeah.
And I guess to men now too. And I think that's why we're having so many issues, because a lot of men who aren't wealthy are now getting treated like women have always been treated. I had a guy that I worked with on a horse farm when I was trying to. I've never liked clubs.
Yeah.
I hate exercising inside. Blah. So when I wanted to work on my arms, I went out and worked on a horse farm for a couple of years, a couple of different horse farms. And certainly wasn't for the money because they don't get paid beans. But I met a guy out there who had been doing things like that all his life. And at one point he told me that he was getting approached by Asian women, Chinese women with money who are trying to find an American man to marry so they can get over here and protect their money. And I said, well, are you going to do it? And he was like horrified. And I said, why not? Women have been doing it for thousands of years.
Yeah.
He didn't mention that to me anymore.
Yeah. Tables do turn. It's everyone, I feel, is kind of being forced to empathize. Like, that's, like, you have to reckon with other people's experiences as their identity role in society. It's just, so everything's very confusing right now.
Mhm.
It seems like there's no solid ground for, like, me as,
We're on that
like,
swinging
I'm
bridge.
38 years old. Well, actually, for the past decade, I've been like, there's no way I'm building a family right on top of whatever we've got going on here. I don't know what's what. I don't trust that people are telling me what they really want, who they really are. It's just, everything is to be determined. So I'm unhappy about it, but I'm single, and at least until I know exactly how to tell my whole truth, like, there's no progress to be made on that, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I feel like, and it's hard for me to look at any marriage with anything but skepticism.
I can understand that.
Unless they're willing to go through it. Like, she is the most devoted person I've ever really seen in real life, you know?
And I probably
When it
wouldn't
comes
do it
to
again.
that. And yeah,
I
and that's another
probably would
thing.
not choose the path that I chose again. I'm just being very honest about that. I doubt that my husband would either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been better to pursue each of your freedom.
Yes.
And in some alternate universe, maybe you could have come together like 10 years later.
Later. That's what I was thinking.
And maybe it would have
Or
been
even 5 years later.
incredible.
Anything. Yeah.
There, regardless of all the what ifs and how many alternate timelines there may be, this is the one we're on. And today is always the time to recognize that you need to tell yourself the truth. Something I've been basically yelling ever since I recognized that I had my own mind was like, people are lying to themselves all the time. Like, I don't even look at lies that people tell each other, because that's just that's once removed from the lie you're telling yourself. Like, the root of the issue is always the lie you're telling yourself. Whatever lie you're telling yourself to do life, you know, if that's your foundation, then it's got to crumble. Like, that suspension bridge, the string that's holding you up is gonna fall. Does that make sense?
I don't know if we want to go there or not, because I've been on that suspension bridge a lot. And I'm not dead yet.
Well, it's like a video game. It's like a freaking video game. You just, you die, and then you come
Start
back,
over.
and you're on the same bridge, and
Yeah.
you're like, what just happened? This is spiritual ascension, okay? When you start to have experiences where you're like, that should have killed me.
Well, yeah, it's like when in 2019, when I had what in the past would have been referred to as a breakdown, or if you were Hildegard von Bingen, you would have said was, messages from God. She described what she went through, and it's exactly what I go through. I have a very extreme version of this, and I remember when I went to see my counselor that I've now known for over 20 years. He said, "What's going on?" I said, "Well," I'm either really finally cracking up, or I'm having a spiritual ascension. I said, "Your pick, because I know you know what I mean." And he nodded his head.
Spiritual awakenings, that's going to be the real
Yeah.
identity transformer, the catalyst for people. I don't think in the next 10 years anyone's going to be able to deny spiritual reality in some sense or another. Right now we have religions that are cultural. I might be being optimistic. I don't know, but...
Excuse me. You want to go to the office? No bark.
Teaching moments.
No bark. Go ahead.
But, everything's become so exponential. Time is flying, and progress, or however you want to look at that, chaos is a huge progression. It's everything that should have happened in the past X amount of time, all in this moment, when you spend a long time trying to make something work that was never going to work. I think that's kind of where a lot of people are. All it takes is that tower card, like, boom, there you go. Now you can move on.
I just want to, since we're talking about chaos anyway, you wanted to mention why you wanted to shoot today, that it's about your ponytail and that you wanted to be on that side so you could show it off. So I just wanted to mention it. Everybody noticed the ponytail.
Well, okay, this is not the best ponytail. The best ponytail was in 2014.
She has a picture of it.
I have
It was beautiful, indeed.
Yet to achieve the 2014
You'll have to put it. You'll have to show it on the.
Oh, I'll
when
show
you,
it
when
off.
you edit. Yeah, show the picture when you edit.
In case it never comes back.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did need to sit on this side, and I may not even be showing it.
Yeah,
well
you
I don't know.
probably need to lean and make sure it's really showing.
I kept cutting my hair because I kept thinking I could get the ponytail that I wanted. So my hair's been shorter than I've wanted it to be for quite a while now, but whatever. It's better today. That was the impetus for today's video completely. And then we both got manic because the weather's nice and we have fresh cherry limeades and life is beautiful.
And the last few days were hard.
We have
the phases that we went through. Since I've been watching this moon book, I've been keeping a calendar for at least 5 years, 5 or 6 years now. That's published by We Moon Publishers in Oregon, and they have the phases of the moon in there, and that's why I originally bought it. And I did it to watch my sleep patterns because I have very rarely slept more than a couple hours a night. And we were trying to change that. And I was experimenting with foods and all of this stuff, so I needed to keep track of things. And that's how I got started with that. And so this was just very natural to fall into, this book from that book. And so I follow this. I've been following this for, how long did, my counselor told me, because he wrote it down.
8 weeks.
8 weeks, yeah. And was it that or the banana drink?
It was both. The banana
They
drink
were at the same time? Were they about the same
stabilized
time?
you. I think the banana drink was about 4 weeks ago. Like
I
eating
think
a
you're
banana
right.
at night.
I think you're right. Yeah, banana at night. If you are a
Very
manic
good.
bipolar, you should
If you
be
can't
eating
sleep.
a banana at night. I noticed right away that I started sleeping better, and that what I really noticed after the first week was that I felt better in the morning. I came down and I told Dan, I said, I feel more solid. I don't feel so shaky and weird.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the way I've always awakened. Anxious. It feels like anxiety. So I'm wondering if people who are suffering from anxiety may be hypoglycemic, like I am.
God only knows the level of nutritional impact
Yes.
there is on all of our mental stuff.
Yes.
I wanted to say real quick, I'm going to use this when I'm running.
Sure.
Okay, you hold the middle finger to
That's the
greatly
ring finger.
enhance.
That's the ring finger.
Yeah, right?
You just said middle.
Oh, whoops, I'm sorry. Okay. You hold your ring finger while you're jogging or running to greatly enhance your vitality since it increases the flow of oxygen to your lungs. It's a whole system and I don't know it yet, but the cool thing is that it's a quickie method. You don't
Yes.
have to know the reasoning behind it because it's energetic.
It just works.
Yeah.
I've always meditated. I've always done every complicated thing you could think of.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this has been the thing that has really changed my life because it stops me from thinking.
Yeah. I just
you
watching
know?
her is what got me really into it.
It
Because
is.
seeing her transformation, and since I've known her since August
Mhm.
of last year, it's crazy.
Yeah, 2 months after we met, I got into her car one day and she said, I can't believe you're still alive.
Like,
And really that's true. If you know anything about the whole bipolar thing and the PTSD and all that mess, someone like me should have had it stroked out quite a while ago. Or should have died of a drug overdose.
we're living all kinds of miracles.
That was our 20 minutes!
Can't believe it.
I'm
it
so
feels
bummed!
Like it's been 2 minutes.
It does feel like it was only 2 minutes. Okay,
We'll
pick up
film
the cup.
next
It's time
week's-
to go.
Just turn it off and turn
we
it
wish
on
you
again.
all the best.
Yeah.
We wish you all the best. Everybody, breathe.
Yeah, it's every frightening thing is an illusion.
Yes.
Like, we created these challenges for ourselves for growth. And life has to keep moving and transforming. That's just part of it.
And when there's a big shift in society, it will go better the more people who are calm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's not going.
That's really the major thing
That
to
is
learn.
the major thing, is that it will go better. We will all do better if we're all calm. We're going to go over 20 minutes because this is something I was thinking about this morning. What I wanted to say to people is that, because I truly do feel this way, because I'm a complicated little beast. I don't have very many friends because I believe pretty much everything has validity.
Me too.
So I'm not the person you want to
both
talk to if you want
everythingists.
someone on your team permanently. It's not going to be me, you know. And what I wanted to say to people is that I truly believe, and I want to talk to people in the United States in particular about this right now, but there are other countries, England and maybe Germany too, who are having similar issues right now. Really, if everybody just will be calm yourself, and then pray or meditate or walk or hike or jump through a hoop or play with a hula hoop, whatever it is that helps you center yourself and make good balanced decisions. If we all do that, it doesn't matter who agrees and who disagrees. The greater good will always win out. It will. It just always does if everyone's calm. When it doesn't, it's when people buy into the panic, and then there's, I don't even want to say the word.
The best move is no move right
No
now.
move at all. Shoots gone.
We'll have to write
German.
that one
I
down.
can't get that word right. I grew up listening
There
to
is
German.
no move to make. The move is do nothing.
It's a
Ever
chess
since
term
the
in German.
Pandemic,
Yeah.
that's been the answer.
The best
is
the best
do
move
nothing.
is no move. Shoots. We'll
We'll
look
put
it
it
up
on the
later.
screen.
Yeah, we'll put it on the screen because I do have it written down. But it is a German term for when no move is the best move.
Yep.
And that's what's probably going on right now.
Remember that if you ever have a big decision in the next 20 years.
Yeah. Breathe a lot.
Bye. Thank you so much for tuning
Peace.
in.